to you, Simin.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rishi, and thank you so much, Sonal, for setting the context of this webinar. Interesting question. I think, first of all, we need to understand what do we mean by a traditional work culture. You know, a traditional work culture is something that is sort of shaped by these long established values, the leadership styles, or the workplace norms that have been evolved over a long period of time, right? And when we talk of traditional work culture, it typically means that there is a structured hierarchy, or there would be clear reporting lines, and usually people prefer in-person collaboration, and the communication is formal, something that you guys have already spoken about. Many traditional workplaces also emphasize on loyalty, as a very big, a considering factor, stability, on experience-based decision making, and career progression normally is also tied with sometimes more, on tenures rather than skills. Now, these aspects have historically been created, and these have been, working well in organizations. They've created a sense of reliability, a sense of order. But when we talk about Generation Z, they become a bit fidgety when it comes to something like this. They value more of flexibility. They value more of autonomy. They would want more of digital interventions that can, sort of measure their outcomes rather than a sense of feelings or a tenure that they've spent in an organization. Now, how do organizations integrate younger tech savvy workforce, without alienating the younger generation, and having the older and younger generation work side by side and being effective and productive? I think what is most important is a balanced approach. A balanced approach that respects tradition while also embraces modernity and innovation. The first thing that comes to my mind is, of course, communication. How do we make sure that communication is modern, that the collaboration methods are such that it is convenient for both both all kinds of generations. I would say, I wouldn't call it both, but the different generations that are working side by side. And some of these things that organization like ours is also incorporated is having certain tools, like for example Microsoft Teams or Asana for project management, or Monday.com, or things like that, which are collaboration tools, which are communication tools, where you are able to communicate and effectively have the the projects managed in real-time basis, while also having obviously formal communication in form of emails happening. There are organizations that also have chatbots for instant communication within the groups in the organization. Secondly, I would also say that sometimes we need to rethink, and organizations definitely have to rethink the way they go about developing talent and career development and career paths that they have created for the people. Gen Z, as Sonal mentioned, is quite comfortable with digital learning happening, and the traditionalist, conventionalists, they would want a face-to-face intervention happening. Now, how do we manage? How do we develop our talent? How do we make sure that everybody is comfortable? Is by, of course, having a blended approach. We also now have started, and I think technology has really helped organizations in a manner that we have LMSs, or learning management systems, that are AI-driven. And that means that you're able to send out personalized, tech-driven learning experiences, which are hyper-personalized to people. So, you may take learning the way you want, in the form that you want, and then and also on the go whenever you're free. So that also is one initiative that I think organizations should incorporate. Reverse mentoring, you mentioned, we are doing it with our children, and the same is also happening in a structured manner in organizations. Employees are sharing their knowledges, while the younger ones are probably sharing insights on digital trends. The leadership is, sharing advices on the to the younger generation on how to manage people better. So this way, generational divides can be bridged and knowledge is transferred in both places. I think organizations at the end, I would just say that, they should focus on creating, inclusive and adaptable workplaces where it's not just a blend of traditional values with modern expectations. It's also where everyone feels that, there is a culture of open dialogue where feedback is the key. Again, one more thing that I would want to add is, younger generation or Gen Z wants immediate and real-time feedback. They don't want to wait the entire year for a PMS to happen and then get feedback on how they have performed. And therefore, agile organizations are now kind of having this sort of a mechanism where a real-time, feedback mechanism is put in place. Leadership in any organization plays a crucial role in bridging this bridge between the different generations. The senior leaders, if they are open to supporting digital transformations, if they are open to participating in mentorship programs, if they are champions of diversity in thinking, and they can create an organization that is more inclusive, and they can then strike a balance between, which is the right balance between tradition and modernity and